After, a Once Upon a Time podcast. Season 2, Episode 6, Tallahassee. In this episode, Emma follows Captain Hook up a beanstalk in the hopes of finding a magical compass. Meanwhile, a fellow thief wants to make an honest woman out of Emma.
What does that mean?
How does he want to make her an honest woman?
Marry her. I'm your host, Molly Southgate, and with me is
Martha Southgate.
And
Rob Southgate. Making an honest woman out of Martha for 24 years.
What?
I just took a guess. I don't know how many years it's been. So, wow, is this one awesome? That beanstalk was awesome. There was just so much in this that I loved.
We got a lot of backstory.
Yes.
Now we know why she's so angry.
We also know why, or where the yellow Volkswagen came from. So, I have a question right up front.
Oh, yeah.
Did we watch the same episode? No. I have a question right up front.
Okay.
Who do you think Neil is? Do you think he's going to show up in Fairy Tale Land? Or do you think he's just human and
he's human.
Okay, so he's from our world.
I was hoping he was Jack.
I thought that was a pretty good theory.
I didn't think he was Jack.
I wanted it to be.
I thought for sure he was going to be up there when she got up to the top.
That would have made me so happy.
Yeah.
To see the look on her face that with him in Fairy Tale
Land. Yeah, but it
Land.
wouldn't make you so happy if she slapped him on the face and punched him in the gut.
It probably would have. Why? He gave her money in a car.
Yeah, and she thought he ran off, but he didn't run off. He was convinced by August.
I know, but she doesn't know that, Dad.
Well, right. So,
she thinks he was a jerk.
Yeah, understandable. In her mind, he just left her, and he set her up because the cops showed up and said that your boyfriend tipped us off.
But it really was August who did it. Who tipped.
Right. Well, Neil could have done it. We don't know who called.
Well, August made him.
Right, but August made him for sure.
Because Neil had no intention of doing that until August made him.
Yeah, no, and Neil really did love her.
Yes, he did.
Although, man, they were a messed up couple with all their stealing ways.
Would that be a mupple?
A mupple? Yes! You make the best.
Are they a couple or are they a mupple?
Pretty sure they're a mupple.
They're a mupple.
Like Bonnie and Clyde.
So we didn't really get flashbacks to Fairy Tale Land. This time we had flashbacks to Oregon and Arizona and Vancouver. Yep. It only went back 11 years. And then the fairy tale stuff was all the Enchanted Forest, which was happening now.
Yes.
So this was the first time that we haven't had something that went way back and shown what was happening.
We also didn't have anything in
Fairy Tale Land.
Well, we had a little bit in Storybrooke.
Yes, a little bit, tiny bit at the end.
Yeah, we only had current Fairy Tale Land.
Right.
Yeah.
So it starts out with Aurora, Mulan, Snow, and Emma and Hook all at the base of that beanstalk. Remember the last episode ended it with us seeing the beanstalk. Now they're at the base. That beanstalk was so cool.
She said it's slightly creepier than I remember.
Well, she said, I actually wrote the quote.
Oh, let's be specific.
Like me to share?
Yeah.
Emma said, it's a little freakier than I remember from the story.
My favorite line.
Oh, okay. So the beanstalk, they can only go up. What did they say? There were only two could go up or something? Why did that happen? Because Hook was going to go up and he had that bracelet. Was the bracelet, was that what was going to get him up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, but they didn't know that at the time.
Right. So it had to be him and one other person.
And, whoever was going to die. If they all went, the chances that they're
I like how Aurora is like, I should go because, I haven't gotten to prove myself or whatever.
Oh, please, you
And Snow's like, I've had fighting experience. Excuse me, Mulan has fought in wars. She's a warrior.
Right, but wouldn't they need her down below to protect whoever's still down there?
Well, it's logical either way. Yeah.
No, they would also... Snow, that makes sense too. She's fought in wars too, right?
Right, but it was like Mulan was not even considered, and Mulan would be my first choice.
Snow White fought in wars?
She did.
What?
She fought in the Dwarf War. That was where she had to slaughter Dopey.
You are not
so
funny.
Sad. No, that was when she fought Stabby.
You are making this up.
So
I might be naive and a little slow, but I
might be
recognizing that you're making that up.
So
he said it first.
Emma's the one that
Emma decides to go because she's awesome.
Yeah. Well, and you knew Emma was going to be the one going.
Of course.
So Emma climbs up there with him, and now at this point, when she's going up the beanstalk with Hook, I actually wrote here, I think Hook is going to turn out to be a good guy.
Okay, but hang on. First, before she goes up the beanstalk, she says to Mulan, I need you to chop down the beanstalk if I'm not back in 10 hours and get my mom home.
And Mulan is literal girl, so you know she's standing there counting the minutes. Yes. But I really think that Hook has not been dishonest with them.
We don't.
Well, we don't know, but
could be playing them.
He could be, but I actually kind of think he's not. Mm-hmm. And I think that he is a little bit surprised at how they just view him as in a negative light. Because when they said something like, it's you're Captain Hook or whatever, he goes, oh, right, the whole pirate thing. Like, you make assumptions because I'm a pirate. Mm-hmm. But Emma's making assumptions because she's read Peter Pan. Right. Now, here's another interesting thing about that. Mm-hmm. When the giant was talking about how the humans fought the giants, and Emma's like, yeah, you were the bad guys. And he goes, we were the good guys. The victor is the one that tells the story. What if Peter Pan isn't the good guy? But he won, so he gets to tell the story in the end, which is why we think Captain Hook's the bad guy.
Wow.
I'm just wondering about that.
I loved that
because he even mentioned like the Lost Boys, and he didn't seem like, oh, those rotten Lost Boys. No, it was more like, I learned a lot from the Lost Boys. I've talked to them. So what if?
It makes you wonder.
The Lost Boys were... No, that's crazy.
Who knows?
I
was about to say they might be his crew.
No.
Or he might have fought with them.
Right. What were you going to say, Mark?
I love how they made the giant a sympathetic character.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk about the giant for a second.
First of all, Hurley.
It was Hurley from Lost.
So Rob and I are screaming.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't know what was going on.
Yes.
And Hurley on Lost looks exactly like Hurley as the giant.
Right. It's just here he was in his pajamas.
Here he was in sort of the genie outfit.
Right. I loved that. I loved the giant. I loved the look of the whole thing. I also loved when they went up the beanstalk and they got up to the giant's lair and you saw all the skeletons everywhere. Mm-hmm. And there were giant skeletons and human skeletons. That was just really, really cool. And then Hurley came out. What?
Why did they say he was the fiercest giant?
Because he was the last one to live. He killed the last humans that were up there. So he probably is the one that killed Jack. Jack killed all the other giants or had a hand in killing the giants. And Hurley killed Jack, and he was the last one to survive. Mm. So he's kind of a sad character. He's the last of his kind. When he dies, there are no more giants.
Yeah. Like the Doctor?
Yep, like Doctor Who. But you know what's interesting? I think that the giant and Emma are now friends.
They are.
Uh-huh.
So I wonder if he'll end up showing up again and helping.
Well, and Henry.
Right.
He could be a good buddy to Henry.
He could be a buddy to Henry. And then he's like Henry's Hagrid, and Henry would be Harry, and Molly, you would be Hermione, and I would be Snape. Okay, so...
No, you'd be Harry.
I'm Harry. That's Harry back. That's who I am.
Yeah! I meant Harry isn't Harry.
Right. I have another question. Mm-hmm. I may be the biggest fool in the world, but I think I figured out who Emma is. Because...
What does that mean?
Well... I think they've been telling us this whole time who Emma is, and it wasn't until she said her name to Neil that all of a sudden I went, she's the Swan Princess.
Oh.
So maybe that story never happens, but I think that she is the Swan Princess. And as she becomes more part of Fairy Tale Land, maybe that story at some point will unfold a little bit. Now, I could be wrong. There could be another character who's a swan.
Oh, you're not the biggest fool in the world.
I'm not. Excellent. But second biggest. Woo! I'm number 2.
But she doesn't turn into a swan.
Right. Well, we don't know. We don't know.
Dad, have you ever seen Emma turn into a swan?
No, not yet. So,
right.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about what was going on down below the beanstalk.
Okay, so on the ground.
So we had Aurora, Mulan, and Snow deciding, okay, well, we all have to sleep, but we should take turns. And no one, as Molly pointed out, no one wants to sleep with Aurora awake.
Uh-huh.
Right.
She's a homicidal maniac.
Nobody's trusting on that Aurora right now.
I'm like, don't. She's gonna kill you in your sleep if you're asleep when she's awake.
So,
How about you've got two people up?
so Mulan slept first.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So Aurora stays up with Snow, and
Yeah.
Mulan goes to sleep.
Right.
And then they
Uh-huh.
talked about her, how she's an insomniac. She has
Yeah.
really bad dreams.
Right. Now, I would assume that those dreams are because of Maleficent and the
You
big
think?
dragon action. Yeah, I kind of think so. I mean, that's a pretty scary story that she had to live through, although she was asleep.
Although I'm not thinking Emma's having bad dreams, and she killed Maleficent.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but she wasn't, like, trapped in a thing with thorns and a big dragon running around. She just fought the dragon. But then again, Aurora was asleep, so maybe not.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
But they were talking about her dreams, and then when later on in the episode, when they woke up, when whatever her name is, Aurora actually had the bad dream then, and Snow went over and woke her up and comforted her, and then said, "I'll hold you until you go back to sleep."
Right.
And she was trying to mother.
Right. She was doing some mothering.
She's like, yeah, I don't have my daughter with me right now. I need somebody to take care of.
Exactly.
Right.
So then, along with that storyline, we see Snow said to Aurora, when I would have bad dreams, Prince Charming would light a candle. And then we see him with Henry. We see David and Henry.
This was crucial. I don't know why, but he had the same dream as Aurora.
Right.
And guess what? She was staring back at him, and he was
Right.
staring
So
at
can
her.
you remember what Aurora said her dream was? What was it?
She said her dream was she was trapped in a room. It was completely red.
Uh-huh.
No doors, no windows. She couldn't get out. She was trapped. There were red curtains.
And you couldn't see outside at all.
Uh-huh.
And the curtains are on fire.
And the curtains were on fire.
Uh-huh. And all she could see was there was somebody staring back
And
at
that's
her.
Henry.
Right.
No,
Well,
And
right.
he saw her staring at him.
Right. When he told about his nightmare, he was saying that she was staring back at him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. The two of them are in a room. It's on fire. They're not fighting, though. Like, they're scared of seeing the other person, but they're not fighting. So whatever is happening, maybe this is foreshadowing to something we're going to see later in the series.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. Because he hasn't met Aurora yet. She's been in Fairy Tale Land the whole time.
Right.
So, interesting.
So interesting. But anyway, so Henry wakes up and he's having a bad dream, and David goes in and comforts him and lights the candle.
Right.
So just like he used to do for Snow White when she had her bad dream.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what? There was another dream reference in this. When Neil and Emma went to their hotel room or motel room,
Oh, yeah.
there was a dream catcher. And he said, I think we should keep that. Because she said it keeps bad dreams. He's like, or it catches bad dreams. And he's like, I think we should keep that. You know, maybe he's part of that too. Maybe he has bad dreams and he's having that Red Room dream. We just didn't hear it.
I don't know.
So who knows? But good stuff in there.
No.
Yes, right.
So in the scene when Emma is up in the giant's castle with Hook, and Emma, the giant has woken up, and he picks up Emma, and she bit him.
Right. Oh, he's squeezing her, and she starts to like go all fuzzy, her vision, and then she bites him. Chomp. What did you say that was like, Mo?
Sisters Grimm.
Yeah, what happens in Sisters Grimm?
A frog girl's attacking him and chomp.
Oh, she bites her hand,
And she's like, ah!
and that's how they get away. So that's what Emma did here, too.
Except to a giant.
And then this was really neat, too. When the giant goes for her, she cuts that tripwire that Hook almost fell over.
Yeah, she traps him in his own booby trap.
Right, and a big cage falls on the giant.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is where we find this out. She goes with the sword. She picks up the jack sword and she goes toward him. And he says, don't. She says, oh, this must be dipped in some kind of poison. So that's how Jack killed the giants, was he had poison on his blade, or it was enchanted somehow. And that's when we also find out that Hurley the giant says, we were the good guys.
Yeah.
You guys came up and slaughtered us. And Emma believes him, I think. And that's why she
believe
says,
him.
he says, all humans are cruel. They're just killers. And then she walks away. She says, no, we're not all killers. Then he bursts out of the cage and he goes to get her.
So
and
he
she's
could have
like,
burst out that whole time.
Right. And she thinks he's going to squash her. And what does he do?
He takes open something and you're like, ah! And then he gave her a walkway to walk.
Right. He threw the rock and it gave her a way out of his castle.
And he says, I owe you one favor because you didn't kill me. And Emma says, I get 2 favors.
Right.
I could have killed you twice.
Right.
At once when I threw the poison in your face, or the dust in your face, and the other was just now.
Right. So, Mal, what was the other favor? What is the giant Hurley going to do?
To look after Captain Hook.
Well,
right.
She got to go save him first.
Right. She saved
But
Captain
then she
Hook.
got nervous when she was talking to him again, and she was like, this guy is not
right.
telling me the truth. So she handcuffed
She shackles him.
and then gave the giant orders to let him go in 10 hours.
Right.
What's her obsession with 10 hours?
I don't know.
10 is the magic number. 10.
Maybe that's in the
it's
Swan
a
Princess
magic
book.
number.
We read the Swan Princess book.
Oh, do you think there's 10 hours in there?
Maybe that's how long she gets before she turns back in.
It.
When she turns into a swan at night.
Mm-hmm. We watched the movie, but didn't see it.
We read didn't we? We saw a movie about it?
Yeah,
I thought we read
you slept through it.
Brothers Grimm.
No, I don't think there is a Brothers Grimm. It's probably written by Hans Christian Andersen.
Yeah, take that. I think it is Hans Christian Andersen.
So why don't we find out if that one has 10 hours in it?
Next time on the Ever After podcast, hear about the Swan Princess.
And 10 hours.
And 10 hours, right.
So Emma comes down the beanstalk to find Mulan and Snow rolling on the ground.
Girl, fight!
And fighting each
princess,
other.
fight! Yeah.
And, because Mulan was trying to chop down the beanstalk.
Right, and she said, I was only doing what you told me to do.
Yeah.
Of course she was.
What?
Emma
No,
knew.
I was only doing what your daughter.
Yeah, but she says it to Emma when Emma came down, too. I was only doing what you told me to do. And Emma wasn't mad at her or anything. But she also kind of says, yeah, I left Hook up there. My friend is watching over it.
Mm-hmm.
And they do not know who her friend is.
Yeah, who's her friend?
So
right.
let's talk about
That's what's in their minds.
Emma and Neil. So she meets him when she breaks into into a car and he's in the back seat.
And it's that yellow bug.
And then it turns out that it wasn't his car. He stole it. She goes, I stole
a stolen car.
Love that.
And then, of course, they have a little love connection. There's a little spark there.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next time we see her, she looks pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And what was going on there?
Thought
Was she pregnant?
Nah.
What was she doing?
That was just her stealing.
Yes, it was. She had her belly like that so she could steal stuff at that convenience store.
Uh-huh.
And then as Neil was stealing something, a guy comes in and starts saying, hey, he's stealing. And what did she do?
She pretended the baby was coming.
Yeah, and every time the guy talks, she'd go, oh, it's coming right now. And they run out of there.
And then he said,
so they are quite the scammers,
didn't you
aren't
know
they?
that they were stealing from you?
Yeah. So
Neil tells her that he has stolen all these watches and that he's wanted.
Yeah, and they were going to move to Tallahassee, hence the name of the episode.
He's got
but he can't.
the watches in a train station locker.
Right.
And he tries to make it seem like it's her idea. I kept thinking he was scamming her this whole time. But she went to the train station to go retrieve
we
the
thought
watches.
that he was scamming her, and that's another reason she hates him and thinks she was scammed. But in reality, he wasn't scamming her.
August was.
Well, no, August wasn't scamming her.
August was trying to
protect her
in a way that
he was trying to protect her.
By destroying her life.
But he knew that if she didn't follow the right path, she would never save all the people in Storybrooke. Mm-hmm. She had to do it. Now, when he talks to Neil, and he says, "Look, you can't go back to her. You have to leave her. If you really love her, which he does, you need to separate. There are things you need to do." And he says, "I can prove this." Yeah.
He never knew Henry. He didn't know.
He doesn't know about Henry.
He doesn't even know Henry exists.
And
wait a minute. How could she be pregnant without a man?
She was pregnant from before.
She was pregnant from before. Then she went to jail and found out she was pregnant.
Right.
It takes a little while.
Yeah, it takes a while. It's not like,
It's not overnight.
If that was the case, ding, there's Molly.
Yeah.
Didn't happen that way.
All right, so...
Hey, ding. Hi, my name's Molly.
So Neil is going
is
going to sell the watches.
She came out talking. Yes.
And August stops him, grabs him. Well,
Right.
he violently stops him. Tells him about Emma and asks him to leave her, that she has a destiny, and he shows her a box.
Yes.
Shows
Tim.
Neil.
Right.
Sorry,
It was
Neil
the
a
box
box.
that was on the back of his motorcycle.
So what the heck was in that box? Because
You think it's a heart.
Molly, you think it's a heart?
I think it's the magical heart, because that would scare him.
I can't
What did you think
of
it was?
what it could possibly be that would make him say,
I have a theory. What do you
I don't
think?
have one.
You don't have one. Okay.
At first I thought it was the book. And then
Here's
I'm
what
like,
I
that's
think.
not going to work.
Here's what I think. I could be so wrong, which would be unlike me on here. But
Very like John.
very likely. I think whatever it was, is showing Neil. I think Neil knows who he is. I think Neil is like Jack or somebody.
No.
And I think when he opened that, it was like, as soon as he saw it, he knew, oh my gosh, it's all real. And that's why he said, now I have to tell you a story. He's going to because he didn't show him about Emma. He said, Emma's really important. She's the savior, blah, blah, blah. But we didn't see what he told her about Emma. I think that as soon as he saw that.
Why does everybody call him her?
What?
You keep calling him her.
Neil?
No. Am I?
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
Okay. But when August showed him whatever was in the box, I think it was just like when Emma had her realization that Storybrooke was real. Remember? All of a sudden she touched that and was like, whoa, it's real. I think that Neil might be like August. He might know he's a displaced person from Fairy Tale Land. And when he saw whatever it is, it's like, I know who you are. And now you have to listen to my story about Emma. Okay. And that's why he left. That's my guess.
But you think it was the heart.
But you think it's a heart, which is also a very solid guess.
And I have no guess.
And doesn't take nearly as long as my description.
Right.
Yeah.
So Neil left her holding the bag, essentially.
Holding
the watch.
Yep.
And
watch this, he said.
She ends up with getting 11 months in jail. And Neil goes to...
And that's another series. That's Orange is the New Black. Right. We see her in jail.
Orange gets... I did not just say that.
Aren't you glad I didn't say banana right there?
August. Neil gives August...
That is.
The car keys and the money.
Yes, and the keychain that he stole that has Swan on it.
To give to Emma. But we saw him give her the car, but not the money.
Right.
So either August pocketed the money, or it's in the glove compartment of the car.
Yeah, but one way or another, she got the car. Well, she got the car, one way or another.
I think
August... And we also find out right there... Wait, what?
I think August pocketed the money.
I know, I think so.
Too. I don't think so. I think he's going to give it to her. But I also liked how we find out at that moment that she's pregnant with Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, there is one part on here that we missed. Otherwise, I'm finished.
Okay.
But
you're finished.
It was my most favorite part of the entire episode.
Okay.
When Emma and Hook are about to go up the beanstalk, and she gives him his hook back, and then hangs her purse on it.
That was hilarious. Actually, I had my favorite line here, too.
That's my favorite scene.
The hook on the purse on the hook, hilarious. Mm-hmm. My favorite line was, just as they started to go up, Hook says, "You never forget your first beanstalk."
Yes.
That was excellent.
That was
so
a great
funny.
Line.
So is that it, guys?
That's it.
You might, if you fall off and kill yourself.
Well, you might forget it if you fall off and kill yourself.
It took me a minute to figure out what you were talking about.
Good point.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I can't wait to get to the next episode. It's going to be awesome. Let's wrap this up. You can find past episodes of this and all our other podcasts at our website, which is
www.southgatemediagroup.com.
Thanks, Molly, and everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Find us on iTunes, find us on Stitcher and Podbean, and wherever else you get your podcasts.
And everything that starts with pod.
Yes, and make sure you rate us and review us. It really helps us, and it helps other people find the show too. That's it. Let's end this episode the way every great fairy tale ends.
Happily ever after.
The end. If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.